Yo, what's up, guys? Good midday. We're a little bit earlier than yesterday, so 4 o'clock on the East Coast, 1 o'clock here in Arizona. Thank you guys for coming and tuning in. This is typically morning momentum, but it's been midday momentum for the past week, man. We wrapped up week 1 of the Zero to Hero REI challenge. It's been a ton of fun. We had a really great day today to wrap up the 5th day of the week. Tomorrow is the general Q&A, so I'm excited for that. So for you guys who missed the Zero to Hero sign up, or maybe you weren't a part of the original live group, that's totally okay, because that's probably most of you guys. Still want to remind you, if you want to be on the waiting list for when we do drop the recordings and have everything put together for you guys, go to zerotoherorei.com and sign up for the waiting list. If you sign up, you'll get all of our scripts there too. So if you're like, Matt, I want that cold calling script. Matt, I saw your lead manager script. Where can I get that? Well, you can join the waiting list and you can get it there for sure. So zerotoherorei.com. Join the waiting list. I'm excited to share that with you guys. So it's been a crazy week. That's why we've been going live a little bit later, but I don't want to miss the opportunity because we're almost done with our virtual REI rundown. So REI, so much REI stuff. But for real, we're almost done with our the REI rundown thing here. Day 29. This past week has all been about putting things together. So want to kind of finish off strong, man. I want to make sure you guys have some takeaways from the last 30 days. We've been live for 30 days in a row. I think this is live day 116 or something. So obviously it's an honor coming and hanging out with you guys. I appreciate you as always coming and watching on Facebook, watching on YouTube. Guys, we eclipsed 300 subscribers on YouTube thanks to you. So I want to say thank you. But as always, if you got value from the VA action plan, 30 days, this series, it's been 30 days, you get value. Just want to ask, if you haven't already, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, because that's where we go live, as well as Instagram. Guys, I see you on Instagram. Good to see you. Hopefully you were on the Zero to Hero challenge this week. And if not, again, go sign up for the waiting list. But without further ado, this is day 29 of the REI rundown, putting everything together. Okay. So we talked about leadership. We've talked about lead gen, acquisition, disposition, admin. How do you make these things work? Should you get a partner? Should you not get a partner? What does a business look like? So today I want to pull up my flow chart and give you guys a basic rundown. If you missed some episodes, this is the stuff you want to go back and watch to get clarity on. Okay. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a flow chart, and in this flow chart, we're going to break it down together. Cool. So the tool I'm using for this, you guys can see, is this guy. Okay, this is Whimsical. So if you go to Whimsical up here, virtual REI rundown, if you go to whimsical.com, you will be able to get flow charts. It's pretty cheap and affordable. I was using Lucid Chart, but I like Whimsical. It actually saves me about $400 a year in subscription costs, like $10 a month. Super affordable. So anyways, let's just say, we're building out your business, right? So your basic real estate investing business should have 4 parts: lead gen, acquisition, disposition, admin. Typically, you're the who for most of these positions, but let's just go ahead and break it down even further, okay? So let's see. Let's remove this. So under lead gen, what we're talking about here so far is a couple things, right? We've talked about cold calling as a form of lead gen. What else did we talk about? We talked about SMS. So if you guys are tuning in, I would love to get your input on some of this stuff, right? So we've done SMS as a form of marketing, right? There is other ways. There's voice broadcast. There's direct mail. There's PPC. There's so much stuff. But for the intent and purpose of getting your business off the ground, these were the 2 major functioning pieces, right? So as a part of cold calling, we have, what does that entail, right? So for cold calling, that typically entails, let me go ahead and click on this, and there we go. Just pasting. Okay. So this typically involves some sort of tool, right? So what's the tool that we use for cold calling, right? We had talked about using call tools, or you can also use batch dialer, but the one that we talked about was call tools. If you missed the crucial tools breakdown, it was Unstuck Your Business. It's on my YouTube channel. It's Crucial Tools Part 3. So we talk about the tool. So this is call tools, what we use for cold calling. Past that, what else do we do? Right? What else goes into this? Right? What else goes into cold calling? So now that we have our tools, now who are we going to be marketing to? Right? So let's just say the list. Right? The list that we typically market to, we're going to do niche. So we talked about pulling a niche list. This is all a part of week 1, guys. So lead gen was the first week that we talked about. So if you missed any of this, you go back to week 1, right? So we pulled niche list, niche data. So that's who. Now, what team markets to this, guys? This is a part of our business. So I would say, how do we market to these folks? And this is our VA team, right? So if you have one VA, this would be your VA. This is their first job. This is your first hire. This should be everything for a while. Your VA should be helping you prospect, right? So I got to make this look prettier. This doesn't look that pretty, right? So your VA should help you prospect, right? So your typical numbers here, cold calling, you're going to use call tools. How much is call tools? This is about $120 a month, right? Your data, you can bank on spending data. You can probably spend anywhere from I would say conservatively about $250. That's for 2,500 records. Let's say you spend about $400 a month in data. Okay. Now, move that up. Cool. So you have your tools about $120 a month. This is about $400 a month for your data. And then your VA team. So typically a VA is going to be, let's do the math here. I want you guys to understand cost involved as well as the what. Okay. So for a full-time VA is going to cost you about times 4 is going to cost you about $1,400 a month. Maybe a little bit more, $1,450. It's like $1,440, but it's going to cost you about that for a full-time VA working 40 hours, right? So this is 40 hours. So that's your cost for your lead gen, right? But don't look at lead gen don't look at marketing as a cost. This is an investment in your business. This is how you get more opportunities. So that's a part of owning a business. You have that cost, right? And then when it comes to SMS, what tool do we use for SMS? We looked at a different tools, right? So you can either go with batch or you can go with roar or something of the similar, right? And typically these platforms aren't like a subscription. It's like, hey, you're going to pay per text. So on average, you're going to spend about a penny per text. And let's just say you send 5,000 texts per day. So that's about $50 a day times 30. So this is $1,500 a month for texting. Very affordable. You would assume you would get a deal from this number, right? From $1,500 a month, you would assume you would get a deal. Like that is so cheap, right? In comparison to most other things. So let's go here. SMS, that's your tool. Your list, you're actually going to be texting, guys. You're going to be texting the same list that you call. So this is no longer another cost, right? This cost is already built in because you're only paying for it one time. Okay, you're not paying $400 again for the same data. That's why you use a list stacker to ensure that you in fact do not pay multiple times for the same data. Does that make sense, guys? So we're marketing to the niche list, and then how do we do this? Right? You have a VA team. Okay, same stuff. You can hire a separate VA person to do this as well as your admin task, or you can have a VA that's doing both. You can have a VA that's calling while also responding to text, so you don't take on an additional cost, right? You could certainly do that. I mean, obviously, I highly recommend if you're following around with the Zero to Hero challenge, I highly recommend having 2 VAs. But if you're bootstrapping this thing in the beginning, you're trying to figure out the most effective way, this can certainly be done, right? They're going to be a little less effective on the phone as they're doing both, but just saying, this could be done. Or if you're just getting started, this could be you. This is a very simple thing you could do. Respond to text and then push them to your callers, right? So there's a process how leads come in. I want you guys to go back and watch the lead gen so you can figure out that process, right? How leads come through SMS and how we get them on the phone and how we get them ready for the acquisition. So that's your typical cost there. I mean, if you're looking at just the system side, this is $14.50 plus the text. If you're sending 5,000 texts today, which is a lot, you can scale that up or down. But let's just say you have a business, you have some money to spend, you're sending 5,000 a day, that's 1,500 plus about 1,500, that's $3,000 plus about 520 bucks. So this whole system here cost in total, right? This cost in total cost. This is going to cost you right around $3,500, you know, plus or minus. So it may be a little bit more depending on if you pull a bigger set of data this month and not have to pull more data for a couple months, but plus or minus $3,500 a month. You would expect if you have a good sales team or you're good at sales, you have someone to squat up with, this system should net you at least one deal, right? That's if you're bad. You spent $3,500 for a deal that you made 10 grand on, pretty good margin. The better you get, you'll be able to take the same system and get 2 or 3 deals, right? So that's when things get really interesting. So, but again, at a full transparency, one VA doing both should be able to net you at least one deal. Okay. So keep that in mind. Now, going over to the acquisition side, I am going to pull this. I don't need one right now. So under acquisition, what does that entail? All right. So you have 2 parts. You have the deal acquisition, and then you also have the, let me just copy this. You have actual deal acquisition part. I'm actually going to put this under it. You have junior. Actually, I think it makes more sense to put it up here. So you have a junior rack. You have a junior acquisition, and then you have a senior acquisition. So how does this flow in particular between the two? This is a junior rack is what's also called a lead manager. You guys heard me say lead manager. A lead man. So how does this work together? So typically under the acquisition of your business, your lead managers are going to be people who do all the follow-ups, right? So their job responsibilities, right? Job description is they're going to do follow-up, and they're going to do lead warm-up. And so, I mean, that's basically it, right? They either need to follow up with leads or they need to warm the lead up for AC. Literally, that's it. There are only 2 jobs. Does this person need to be followed up on? Great. They're either going to physically do it or put it into a sequence where they're going to follow up and be reminded to do so, or they're going to warm the lead up for the acquisition, right? And then likewise, the acquisition job, okay, is close the deal. That is it. It's the only thing people in acquisition should be doing. If they're not closing deals, they're not doing their job. So a lot of times your flow chart will look like this, right? Your flow chart will look like, okay, I have my junior AC, I have my senior AC, which is, this is my lead manager, where their job will go like this, right? The lead first touches these guys. They follow up, or lead just came from our lead gen. Boom, they hop here. They need to be followed up on or warmed up. After they've been warmed up, they then hand this off over here. Acquisition's job is simply that, right? And it kind of goes in this circle, okay? So actually, I can probably delete this one. And instead of having the arrow going down, this arrow goes back up to acquisition. Okay? Because once I have it acquired, it goes over to dispo. But here's the circle, right? The circle of life. Junior acquisition, follow up, lead warm up, close a deal. That's your senior acquisitions job. Okay? So, hope you guys understand that. If you miss anything on the acquisition side, go back and watch that the acquisition week, so you have more clarity on that. Okay? Let's move on over. Let's now go over here. And your dispo, right? What goes under your dispo, right? So typically, you have your dispo manager. Again, guys, as I write this out, understand that a lot of this is you. I don't want you to say like, oh my God, I need to hire these people. I want to show you what it looks like as you build your business. Okay. A lot of times your dispo manager is you. So a lot of times you're the junior act. A lot of times you're the senior act. A lot of times you're also the dispo. But in this particular business, right? What I've taught you guys about building going into a virtual market to go fast. Who is that dispo manager? This is typically your JV partner, right? Now, as you start to build out the dispo side of your business, it will no longer be a JV partner, right? You'll have more control over that. But as of just started, when you don't have this, like this part isn't the first thing you should do. This is what you should focus on here. So then you can focus on your conversions here, so you can get your cost can go down. If you can get 2 deals instead of 1 deal, so instead of your cost per contract being $3,500, all of a sudden you get 2 deals from the same spend. All of a sudden your cost is now $1,750, right? That's a more efficient system. Okay, so once you figure this part out, you're selling these deals to your JV partner, right? And eventually that gets old. It gets old giving someone half the deal. It gets old cutting checks, or you seeing 10 grand go to someone who didn't pay any money up front or work the lead or do the acquisition. I get it, but it helps you go fast and you create great relationships. But after a while, your dispo manager is no longer your JV partner. It'll either be you or someone you hire, right? So for us, going back over here to the job description, our who, sorry, I know I missed this, but I want to read the who that work this for our business right now. The who is VAs. For you, it would probably be you. Okay, same thing over here. The who that does our acquisitions now is VAs, but for you, it'll probably be you. Okay, just want to make sure I reiterated that. Okay, because this is the most important thing. This is where your business makes money. Now, after your JV partner, you've done your thing with your JV partner. Then there's important things that go under dispo management, right? I think you have I would call this your client experience. Did you guys heard me talk about experience yesterday? Experience. There you go. Client experience, and then you also have the TC side of it, right? Well, actually, it's actually 3 parts, right? You have marketing, and then you have the TC, right? So we have a TC in our business that handles everything under transaction coordination. But if you're just getting started, you're not going to have all that. It's going to look a lot like, let me make these squares smaller. Goodness gracious. I'm just going to leave it like it was. So you have TC. So again, client experience is where we handle most of our things. This is a VA team, right? A VA team handles like making sure our client is happy with the transaction from start to finish. It's important, right? Marketing, the selling of the deal, is typically your dispo manager for a while until you can train a VA to do it. Like I'm just all in on the VA model. I believe in everything in this business can be done by virtual assistants. So why should I not? right? But in the beginning, again, this is a job that you would probably do. And then transaction coordination, this should be a job you never do, ever. Ever, 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 ever. Please never do this side of your business. You should outsource that as soon as possible from the very beginning. Okay? This should be done by a professional. If you guys know Rochelle Jarvis, she is our professional over at Constant Close. So you should not be worrying about title issues. You should not be worrying about, oh my gosh, what's happening with this particular transaction, right? That should be the last thing you're worrying about. You hire someone for this as soon as possible. And the greatest thing about most TCs, you only pay them at closing. ASAP. Marketing, typically done by your dispo manager. Client experience, that might be your job. You can find someone to help you. But that's just the way I look at it. I don't hear anybody really talk about client experience very often, but it's important. I know this is a longer live, guys, but I want you to see what we've been able to talk about over the last week. If you missed anything on the dispo side, I talked about every single one of these things. Go back and watch those videos. Okay. And then lastly, the admin side of your business. We talked about this one pretty good in depth, right? Admin business go many different areas. But I told you guys to break it down as a front end and a back end, right? And if you missed that, go back front end and watch last week's, which was talking all about admin. Okay, front end is our tool management, our data management, our VA management. Back end is more, culture, VA development, also finance, payroll, all that good stuff goes into the back end. But that is what your business should look like, guys. Does that make sense, everybody who's watching? Like, this is how you should be able to structure your business. Like, obviously there's little nuances in everything that we do. You can add more lead gen. You can put more structure in your acquisition, bring more people in. But the script's pretty straightforward. Your acquisition should only be doing acquisition. You should only be doing acquisition if you're the acquisition person. Do you guys think it would be a waste of time if I had someone who's super duper skilled at closing people, if I had them following up? First off, it wouldn't happen because that's not the right personality to do it. But if I had them following up and their best skill is closing, then that's a waste of their time. And it's a waste of the business resources, right? If I had someone in my business that their unique job skill was to close deals, should they be cold calling? Should they be working leads that aren't really that interested in selling? Absolutely not, right? So your job as the business owner, your job as the leader for your organization is to put people in a position to win. You probably heard me talk about this until your head is spinning because I've said it so many times. But that is literally your only job. Once you get to the point as an operator, how can you make your people win? It's that simple. So this is what your business should look like. If you like drawing flow charts, if you like mapping anything out, I love doing this in general just because it's fun. I love messing with flow charts. I have a good time with it. But if you guys got some value from that, if you see what I'm talking about here, you guys see how your business can be automated at a big scale, right? It's all about good people, finding who's that can help you. It's that simple. Good people is the reason why your business will win. If I was the chokehold, if I was the bottleneck, if I was afraid to relinquish control in my business, then it wouldn't grow. Likewise, if I tried to give up too much of the business without adequately delegating, like doing it the right way, then my business is never going to grow. Be honest with you guys, some of y'all are lazy. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but sometimes you're lazy. You're a C team player. I'm lazy sometimes too, but it's lazy to believe that someone is going to do this for you, right? It's lazy to just think you're just going to just abdicate something. Just say, hey, good luck here. This is your business, right? Take ownership of it. Do the delegation properly, and I promise you, it'll pay off itself a millionfold. Okay, but this is what your business should look like at a big scale. Of course, tweak it, make it your own. But this is a framework for you. So if you guys got some value today on almost a 30-minute live, as we're getting close to wrapping up the series, please, again, like this video, share it. I know it was a lot of information, but please share this video with whoever you feel like would get some value. Head over to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. I think this is day number 116 and going live. You know, I feel like one day in about a year and a half, we're going to look back at these videos like, oh my gosh, why did I not do those things? Guys, a lot of this strategy stuff will get dated quickly. Okay. What I'm telling you today works may no longer work next week, may no longer work tomorrow. The only thing you can control is what you do right now and the action you take right now. Okay. So please don't take this stuff for granted. It's free. Like I guarantee, like right now with the challenge, there's like 1,200 people registered that. And when I say something, they're listening because it costs money to do these things. But this information's free, and what typically happens with free information, no one does anything about it. So I hope that's not you. I hope you do something about it, guys. But anyways, thank you for coming and hanging out with me on Friday. I got to go run to the gym real quick. We got date night tonight. So guys, I hope you enjoy your Friday night as well. And as always, thank you for coming and hanging out. I will see you tomorrow morning. Peace.